Next item up is Adult Education Program Award. That'd be Mr. Troy Penningfield.
Thank you all for giving me a minute to share a special award that our district received at the state directors meeting this fall. You heard Ms. Slosher say, as she often does, that our adult ed program remains in the top 10% of all programs statewide. And already the data that's coming in for this year, one of the things that the State Department chose to do this year was to share each county's adult education statistics with the entire state. So now everybody in Kentucky can see where our program fares against everyone else. So we're getting a lot of emails and comments about that because our name is always on the list. And we are already surpassing our goal after the first quarter audit. So I expect that this won't be the first time that we receive one of these. But I asked Mr. Sparrow to come tonight if he'll come forward. He's representing his department. Ms. Buckman and Ms. Spalding could not be here. But this fall, the state identified the top 16 programs out of 120 counties in Kentucky. And so our program has been named a Program of Excellence for 2016. We're very proud of that.
Okay, that's it. Okay, all right.
That's it.
Just brought home the bacon, that's all that counts.
It was the top 16, Mr. Cecil.
There you go. There you go. Next item up, number C, is state assessment of the results. That'd be Ms. Tammy Newcomb.
Mine will be a little bit longer.
No.
Well, it must be all good news.
It is
There you
lots of good news. Ms. Slosher already had in her superintendent's report the categories that each of the schools have received, their label, but we're going to go into a little bit of detail here on each one. We have some banners set up in the back of the room, so we're going to try to do some award presentations along with some picture taking at the same time in the back in front of the banners. So we're going to have to kind of go on a mini field trip to the back of the room, okay? So, first of all, before we do that, we're going to talk about, if you recall, I talked to you about the rules of the game. And so, I wanted to remind you that there are 5 components to the rules of the game for the high school, and then for our elementary and middle, there are 3. We have achievement, gap, growth, college and career readiness, and graduation rate. Those are kind of the 5 components. Achievement is what you kind of recall from like the test. So when the kids take the test, those test scores earn points, and then that determines that category. The second category of gap also comes from the assessment itself, but that's when they're drilling down and looking at particular subgroup performance. Growth, again, looks at performance on the test from last year to this year and how it grows. And then college and career readiness is based upon all kinds of different ways that kids can earn those benchmarks, but it's basically benchmarks established by the state on particular exams or industry certifications. And then graduation, that's self-explanatory, the percent that's graduating from high school. So this is just a reminder of the cut scores that gets each school their label. Next, classifications. I'm going to kind of roll through this, but if you have any questions, just jump in and ask me, okay? So when we're looking at Marion County Public Schools, we are a distinguished, progressing school district and the home to, and I've listed 3 distinguished schools: Calvary Elementary, St. Charles Middle School, and West Marion Elementary. 3 proficient schools: Ascot Elementary School, Lebanon Elementary, and Marion County High School. 4 progressing schools, which means that they met their annual measurable objective. They made the progress that they were supposed to make in a year's time, and those schools are listed. and then 2 schools of distinction, which is the highest honor that you can receive, meaning that your school has achieved in that 95th percentile under those locked guidelines from 2 years ago. Okay? All right, so this is my favorite slide because this shows the trend of where we have been to where we are now. And everyone knows that when we look at the assessment scores, it's hard for us sometimes to take time to celebrate because we're immediately digging in and starting to see, okay, here's where we did well, this is where we've still got to continue to work. And so you can see back in 11-12, we've just listed our progress. And I think that's a nice visual to show the work that we're accomplishing each year. All right, so we're going to start the awards presentation, and I think Ms. Slosher has a presentation that she wants to make to the board members because it doesn't just happen to becoming a distinguished, progressing school district.
May I say something first? I travel often, and when I go out in Southern County, people know the successes that we are having. It's great to hear that from outside, from another source. Absolutely,
absolutely. There's a lot of work that goes on in classrooms every single day, and it's truly a wonderful thing to see with teachers and working together in groups and working to benefit kids and finding out what particular strategy works best for that child.
I guess what I would say for the board members is we've made a lot of progress in the past 3 years, and it's not always been easy, and I think our board has definitely demonstrated courageous leadership. And I know one of the big decisions that you made a couple of years ago was to start a new program of instructional coaches. They're here tonight. They do a fine, outstanding job. And I know that that was a big decision for you all because that was a change. And I know the question is sometimes has been asked, why would a teacher need help? And I think in this world today, I think we all need coaching at times. And I think it's not about help. I think it's about all of us working and growing together. And I think anybody that spends any time in Marion County with us, whether it's in a leadership meeting, whether it's in a learning walk, or whether like today when we had an audit for the Federal Food Service, you'll find that Marion County Public Schools is not just a team, but they're a family that works together. And so I felt like that's just something that needed to be said. It's a difficult job on all kinds of different kinds of levels. And again, that goes back to, are we serving the right hot dog bun? Are the tires on the buses? There's a story behind that. But are the tires on the buses inflated correctly for the kids that we pick up every day? Do we make the right decision about whether we have school or not? If it's a bad weather day, or whether it's a budget item. And like Ms. Newcomb says, this doesn't just accidentally happen. It's very intentional, and for that I want to publicly say thank you to you, and I would assume that this crowd of folks also want to say thank you because you are the folks that approve our budget, you make sure our policies and procedures, and you keep me in check, you evaluate me. So for that I just want to say thank you, and for our district, for our lobby, I have our bat. If you'll remember when we started this journey a couple of years ago, it was all about hitting the home run and hitting the grand slam, and I really believe that we're doing that. So I want to present that to our board members, and I'll let you look at that. And then for each of you, I guess I can pull this off. You all can either come on down, or I can, if you don't mind, come on down. So this doesn't always happen every year. So if you don't mind, Mr. Reed, there you go. There's your bat. Thank you for continuing to hit a home run. Let's keep hitting some home runs. Our kids deserve all the home runs they can get. Thank you, Mr. Pingston.
Thank you. I don't know how wise it is to give us bad.
There you go, Mr. Evans. And Mr. Simpson. And I guess here's my little one. I thought she was going to give me the big bat.
Now we're posing.
You want to take a picture?
I'm trying not to.
You don't want to? Okay.
Okay, the rest of us will.
All right.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so our next presentation will be to Calvary Elementary School. Calvary Elementary School is a distinguished school, which means under the locked percentage rates that put them in the 90th percentile rating. I think I have a mistake there. And a rank of 57 out of 709 elementary schools, which is actually the top 8%. We're going to take a moment here and call Miss Brady up and recognize Miss Brady and let her, on behalf of the Calvary students and teachers. Yes, that will be fine. You want to say anything, Miss Brady?
I just, you know, there's a big team behind this one bat. So I just, you know, I'm glad to take this for them and take this back to them and celebrate their success and hard work.
And tomorrow, just so everyone knows, we will be traveling in the Dream Bus to all the schools, and we'll be presenting the bat again in front of the entire faculty and staff to present the bat to them together. And the kids always get really excited. And we'll be presenting the banner, and they'll be hanging that up in Calvary's place. It'll actually be in the gym and cafeteria, but we hang it up with pride. So we'll see you tomorrow, and congratulations.
So right behind this slide, you have a paper version because it's quite a bit of information on this slide. Ms. Lowry did an excellent job in the enterprise and going through and explaining the progress from last year to this year. I kind of wanted to consolidate that for you guys on one piece of paper. When you go to the school report card, you've got to click a million different places to find out every little piece of the information. So I put this together on one sheet so that you can see the progression for each content area over the years. Overall, I will tell you that their strengths is they're above the state average in every category. Calvary Elementary School, I would say, was in a unique place this past year. There was a new component of a novice reduction target piece that was added. And I would say that they were one of the very few schools in the state of Kentucky that did not have any novice reduction targets for their subgroups, which means they had less than 10 students in any subgroup to score novice. That's pretty amazing. And that doesn't show up here, but I wanted to point that out. They have all three categories showed an increase for their achievement, their gap, and their growth. And I also have to explain something that's quite complicated here, okay? And Miss Brady and I have had a lot of conversations about this, even last night at 11 o'clock at night, okay? Because it is complicated to understand. you're going to see a little number over to the side, this 86.5. And so what happens is they keep changing the rules of the game each year. And so last year, the rules of the game were each of those three big categories, the achievement, the gap, and the growth, counted 30%, 30%, 40%. You'll notice that they went up in achievement from 92 to 96, which is amazing. Gap, 62 to 64, growth, 70, 72. They increased in every single category. However, because they changed the weights for achievement, gap, and growth to 33 and a third, 33 and a third, and 33 and a third, their score from last year, which was an 80.5, says, well, if these had been the rules of the game last year, your score would have been an 86 last year. That wasn't put in the newspaper or on the website or anything because they readjust your baseline. And so that's what they determine to see if Calvary's made progress from that 86 to the 82. So I hope that makes sense. I hope it does to you guys because it's hard for us to understand. Any questions on Calvary? Okay, we're going to move on then. Our next school that we're going to recognize is Glasscock Elementary School. And Glasscock is a proficient, progressing school. And I know that Miss Akers is really excited about meeting Miss Slosher in the back. Do this kind of a little different. To stand proudly in front of her proficient banner. I know Miss Slosher is going to want to say something. So I'm going to be quiet and let her say something.
Well, one of the things when Stevie came and interviewed, I just said, we made history. This is the first time ever all 4 elementary schools was proficient or higher. And it was Angie's first year. And, she just worked so hard. And it just means so much. I know it means so much to her. It means so much to the staff. It means so much to the instructional coaches. I mean, it's really, and I know that Reverend Pinkston understands this. When you can get all 4 of your elementaries doing the same thing, you're making progress. You really are. You are making progress in making sure that all students are going to graduate college and career ready, and that all really does mean all. So, I mean, I don't know who's happier. Or our kids. Do you have anything to say?
No, just kind of the same thing that Sarah said, that it did take a team. It took raising expectations and having a growth mindset and being willing to do something that we haven't done before. But it was hard work with our students, our staff, and our parents. So I'm just thankful for it. It's been exciting.
So we're pretty excited to see you in your gym tomorrow as well.
I'm very
So with
excited.
your students. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So when we take a data dive, is what I like to call it. I'm trying to make it sound exciting, Mr. Reed. When we take our data dive into Glasscock Elementary, there's lots of positives on all of these schools to point out. But I did want to point out that they also made improvement in all 3 categories of achievement, growth, and the gap. Their math, reading, and writing all improved significantly, exceeding the state average. And you can see each category and the trend data for all of the years. Any questions on Glasscock? All right, I'm going to move on to our next school, which is Lebanon Elementary School. And I know that Miss Royce will take the trip to the back of the room with honor.
I certainly will.
To stand proudly by her banner. This is the second year in a row, so it's nice for her to be able to say that no, it wasn't a fluke. That they knew what they were doing and they continued down that path. And I'll be quiet so Miss Slosher can talk.
Well, I know that when you make big gains, and I know Donna and her staff were very excited, it's obviously about can we keep it up. And when those scores came back and it was proficient progressing, she was happy. And how close were we to distinguished? 0.5 away. So we are making some real gains at Lebanon Elementary, and I'm just so happy.
Well, you and me both. It is an honor, and I'm just only one little part of all this success. It's teachers, it's students, it's instructional coaches, it's the lunchroom ladies, it's everybody that has a part. Our assistants, our instructional aides or assistants, it's all of them. So, I appreciate it. I'm glad to accept this, but it's really for them that did the work. So we're very appreciative.
We'll see you tomorrow to get the kids all pumped up and excited.
We'll be
they
there.
get on the bus, Scott.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll be there. Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick data dive into Lebanon Elementary School. And again, this school was able to increase all three categories of achievement, gap, and growth. There was significant achievement raises, or I guess that's kind of redundant, but significant increases in reading, math, and writing. And you're going to see that trend across all four elementary schools, is that reading, writing, and math, which is where we put a lot of our focus, so that was good to see. Any questions about Lebanon Elementary School? Okay, our last elementary school that we would like to recognize, so good to do all four of these elementary schools, is West Marion Elementary School. And I know Mr. Peterson's going to beat Miss Slosher back to the room and gladly stand by his banner. West Marion is a school of distinction. They are a distinguished elementary school and are progressing. They've met their annual measurable objective.
And it's time matches the banner. Congratulations. If you'll notice this bat, I don't know, that's kind of hard to give up. It's already West Marion Elementary, a school that is distinguished and a school of distinction. If you'll notice, our bats are kind of different colors. We did that last year, the first year. We didn't have any other color bats but black. And so as we've made progress, we've changed those colors, and just very proud of Mr. Peterson in his first year as well. We've got a great group of staff down there. Mr. Peterson's leadership's been fantastic, and just look at the progress we're making. And I know you probably got something you want to say, Mr. Peterson.
West Marion's got a great staff, very experienced staff, and it's got the parents and the students, the way they support each other. I mean, it's just obvious in the results that you get. I mean, it takes everybody to get those kind of results. Those things just don't happen by just showing up. Anybody that thinks you just show up and get those kinds of results, it's not the way it works. Very, very high expectations and a whole lot of hard work.
And I also want to say that our four elementary school principals work really well together. Mr. Farmer and Ms. Newcomb work closely with them as well, doing, when we talk about professional learning communities, a lot of times people think those just happen at the school level, but we do those as well at the central office level as well. They share. I heard Ms. Brady say this week with KDE that it's okay to talk about what you may not even know about, and you feel like that you can ask somebody on your team and how you do that. And I think there's a lot of trust there, and I think these results that you see by these banners that we're standing in front of means that these aren't just words, they're just not words on a piece of paper, that they're actually something that's for real here in Marion County, so, and it sure is fun to hang these hats on.